Ever since the founding of Israel in 1948, ultra-Orthodox Jews have been exempt from the military draft so they can devote themselves to religious study. When first introduced, the policy only applied to 400 students. Today, that number has swelled to 66,000 young men of fighting age who the army couldn't call on for its war in Gaza. But last month, Israel's top court effectively lifted that exemption, triggering huge protests from the Orthodox community. Now, the government, under Benjamin Netanyahu, has until the end of April to agree a new conscription plan. But the negotiations are especially fraught as his coalition includes two ultra-Orthodox parties. DW's Amian Asif reports on the political uproar that is the latest threat to Israel's wartime government.
The ultra-Orthodox life is a deeply religious one. Their calling is to pray and to study the Torah. Many of the men brought their holy books with them to this protest. Picket signs here say they'd rather die than abandon their traditions. Those traditions have so far spared them from serving in the Israeli armed forces. All other Israeli Jewish men are supposed to serve at least 32 months and women 24, and most think the ultra-Orthodox should do the same now. But the men here who call themselves Haredi or from a people don't even see themselves as Israeli.
Nobody here is going to go to the army. They want to go to jail, and they're not going to go to the army.
Are you against the war in Gaza right now?
It's not the issue here, no. It's not the issue. It's not the issue.
So you don't have an opinion on it?
It's not the issue. They want us for years to make the Israelis. They want us to. They see that the Haredim, the former people, they're growing, and they want us to be like them. And we want to live like our life, like we lived for many years, for hundreds of years, and we're not going to be going to the army.
Haredi Jews see Israel as a secular country, which they say is in violation of the Torah, and therefore has no authority over them.
The Jew is not allowed to enter Israel and make a state until the Messiah comes, which we're waiting for him. And that's what they did 80 years ago. And we're stuck with it, with all the problems that come with it.
The protest began with prayers, but soon the younger men marched toward the nearby military recruitment office. A somewhat mismatched standoff ensues. The ultra-Orthodox are not pacifists.
Things are heating up here at the protest in front of the IDF recruiting headquarters. Things were peaceful at the beginning, but especially the young people have come out to show their anger that they might have to be drafted and might have to join the IDF to fight in Gaza.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu relies on ultra-Orthodox parties to keep his ruling coalition together. Opposition parties like Yesh Atid say they should no longer get special treatment.
The ultra-Orthodox community only makes up 13% of the population, and they're reluctant to fight, and a reluctant soldier is not always a good soldier. So is it really in Israel's national interest to draft them into the military?
Of course, now that we're at war and the situation is very complex, we've seen this week what happened with Iran. We need more soldiers. This is a necessity. It's not, something that is nice to have. It's a necessity. We need people to serve in the army, and it's the right and moral thing to do. So I'm sure if we sit down at the table, we can reach some sort of understandings in how to enlist these people, because it's very, very important, and it's also a part of being an Israeli.
Despite the regional conflict developing around them, life here in the ultra-Orthodox neighborhood of Jerusalem seems to go on undisturbed. They're determined to keep it that way.
Now, Rebecca, these protests add to the domestic pressure weighing on Prime Minister Netanyahu. Give us a sense of the headwinds he's facing within Israel right now.
Well, that's right, Nicole. I mean, he's really coming under a lot of pressure. The coalition is under a lot of pressure from so many sides. You've got, the hostage families who are criticising his handling of the ceasefire talks. You've got plummeting popularity ratings. And then this is another really important issue domestically, and something that could really threaten the makeup of his coalition. You've got more centrist, secular, certainly centrist or centre-right parties and politicians saying that they won't stand by by a continuation of allowing the Haredi men, the ultra-Orthodox, to be exempted from the military. This has really come, of course, to a head at a time when the Gaza war is raging and Israel is calling up more reservists and therefore putting more pressure on the fact that the ultra-Orthodox, in the minds of critics, are not pulling their weight when it comes to the military. But then, of course, you have the other side in the coalition, that's the ultra-Orthodox parties and those members saying that they just will not stay in a coalition that allows this, allows ultra-Orthodox to pushes them into the military, I should say. So definitely something that could threaten Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition.
That adds to international pressure. Netanyahu has been meeting with European diplomats who have urged restraint in the response to Iran's weekend attacks. How has he responded to the diplomatic push there, briefly, if you can?
Yeah, we are seeing some diplomatic pressure going through. We've been hearing reports that the strong diplomatic pressure from the US actually shelved plans that the Israelis had in place to conduct another counterattack on Iran, and that has been, they have pulled back and they are now waiting to see exactly how they'll proceed. So we are seeing that pressure from the US and from other allies is taking an effect, though Israel's still standing its ground, saying it will make the decision when it will attack, that it definitely will, and of course the nature of when and just how it will happen is still unknown to pretty much everyone.
That was our correspondent Rebecca Ritters in Jerusalem. Always great speaking to you. Thank you so much.